New videos every day.
Life, wisdom. I'm Psychetruth correspondent Karina Rachel, and today I'm talking with Spruce Dickerson. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Spruce is a motivational speaker, and she's also an advocate for awareness on domestic violence. So today I want to talk a little bit about domestic violence. Can you just give us a brief overview of what domestic violence is?
First off, let me just say domestic violence is just absolutely horrendous. It is a definitely needed issue that needs addressing. Mm-hmm. But domestic violence is the willful intimidation, control, sexual assault, physical assault, battery, emotional and psychological control of an intimate partner by the other. And let me say that domestic abuse, it causes physical injury, it causes emotional and mental trauma, and it oftentimes leads to death.
Wow. Yeah. So how common is domestic violence?
Domestic violence is very, very common. The statistic is that 1.3 million women in this country will be assaulted physically by an intimate partner. Not only that, but just look at our media's influence on domestic violence. It has perpetrated that is the norm for a relationship. That is how a relationship should be. Every relationship has violence in it or abuse in it, and it's just accepted. Take the TV shows that we watch. And two that come to mind from old days are the Honeymooners. I don't know if many people remember the Honeymooners, but when Jackie Gleason tells his wife, "To the moon, Alice." Well, what is that? And he raises his fist. That's a visual, sign of abuse. Right. And then the verbal abuse. And what did we do? We laughed at it. Yeah. And what about Archie Bunker? Everybody I know remembers Archie Bunker. But there again, Edith, his wife, scurrying around the house, right, trying to just placate her husband so he doesn't have a violent rage or he doesn't flip out. Mm-hmm. And what do? We laugh at it. So we've accepted that as that's the normal behavior. And it even goes beyond that. I mean, take today our beer commercials. Mm-hmm. What sells the beer? It's not the men, sitting around the poker table. It's the beautiful bikini-clad models mm-hmm. that are in the commercial, and just their bikinis. And what do they say? Oh wait, they don't say anything. And they're just there for the viewing pleasure mm-hmm. of the men.
Yeah, there's definitely, you definitely bring up a really interesting point, which is that our media, our TV shows, it does kind of portray women in this kind of I liked how you described Edith, kind of scurrying around, yes. kind of just, not in a really strong role. And, it's interesting that there definitely have been, like you said, TV shows or casual mentions and, gestures and things like this that kind of indicate that, oh, it's maybe just okay. And you're right. In a lot of cases, people do laugh at it. Right. People do make jokes about it, maybe don't realize how incredibly common it is.
Yes, exactly. And domestic violence isn't just the physical violence. It is the emotional mm-hmm. and the mental. And that is a great example with the Edith Bunker and Archie, mm-hmm. that, you didn't ever see any physical violence, but it was that emotional control right. that he had over her. Right. And almost like she was a servant.
What about the prevalence of pornography? I mean, definitely these days it's all over the internet. The access is getting easier and easier for people. And it seems that oftentimes it's very violent and they're portraying very violent things. What effect do you think pornography has had on domestic violence?
Pornography, it doesn't just start out bam, hardcore stuff. It starts out with just minimal things, and watching a television show or reading a magazine or what have you. But the more that is consumed, the more that a person consumes that, it becomes an addiction. Mm-hmm. Just like other addictions that we have, pornography becomes an addiction, and it becomes part of that person's essence and part of that person's spirit. But pornography is just a whole issue in itself, mm-hmm. because of the degrading, because of the diminishing of the worth of women. Mm-hmm. Just like what I said with the beer commercial. Well, that is what I'm saying. Just a minimal example, mm-hmm. of pornography. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, okay, a woman in a bikini, that's a swimsuit. Yes, that's fine.
But they're definitely, when you see these commercials, they're acting very sexual. Even the, yes. Burger King commercials. I mean, it's kind, yes. of amazing that, really when they say sex sells, that really kind of, everyone from the beer commercials to the, yes. Doritos commercials, they're all using women in an incredibly sexy role. Yes. As she's being portrayed.
You are exactly right. Exactly right. Save the bikini for the beach. For the pool or what have you. But using that image and using that woman to sell something, it is degrading her. It is lowering her worth as a woman. When you do that, then there is, I don't know, there's just no hope. There's mm-hmm. You're taking away from that woman, who she is, mm-hmm. her identity. So pornography, yes, it can become violent, and it does become violent.
Right. So what about, we often think of domestic violence and we think of women as the primary victims, mm-hmm. but how common is it for men to be victims of domestic violence?
Oh, Karina, wow. That can be a controversial issue, and it is a controversial issue because through my study and my research on the subject is that the more common, it is more common for women to be abused, but men are abused as well. Mm-hmm. And the statistic shows that 15% of men are reported. 15% of men who are abused mm-hmm. report. So, but the controversy comes in where that statistics say and statistics show that men are almost as prevalent as women wow. of being abused, but they just don't report it.
That's
so
a really
if you don't
good
report,
point.
Then you can't have statistics. Mm-hmm. And why don't men report it? Why don't they come forward? Well, it's the whole traditional machismo and men have to be in control right. of the little woman and he has to be king of his castle. Mm-hmm. And so if he comes forward and say, yes, my wife is abusing me or my girlfriend is abusing me, what does that look to his buddies? Right. That would be embarrassment. He would look weak. So that's a big factor for a man not coming forward. Also, lack of resources. We have safe houses for women, but are there specific resources for men? Safe houses for men that can address male issues, because they are different than female issues. So a lack of resources. And then, just the fear of being made fun of. Yeah. From family and friends and co-workers in the community. So
men feel fearful to even come out and speak about it if they are victims. And so yes. You're definitely right. That would skew the statistics. Yes. So it's hard to know exactly how many men are actually victims.
Exactly.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up for today. What resources would you recommend for women or men who are in a domestic violent relationship right now?
For here in Austin, the victims can call and go to Safe Place. And there is the National Domestic Hotline, which they can call. So definitely also call 911 if their life is threatened or not even
or
threatened.
even before it gets to that point.
Exactly.
Get the police involved before it reaches the point that
to have intervention, because that woman needs an advocate, and she needs to know that she can make that choice, and that she needs to make that choice to live. So she needs to reach out, go to her clergy or go to a church for support, find trusted friends and family, and lean on them. And even parents of friends that would support her. So she just needs to know she's not alone. She is not alone, no matter what her batterer tells her and makes her believe and wants her to believe. But she is not alone. And that is not the way to live. That is not normal for a relationship. Right. Love is not that. We were created to love, to respect one another. And that beating someone is not love.
Well, Spruce, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will give us a thumbs up, leave your comments below or your questions below. Please be sure to subscribe to Psychetruth so you can check out all of our future videos where we'll be talking more with Spruce and covering other topics in health and wellness. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.